I swear, if they keep announcing another live-action Disney remake before I even get to see the next one, I'm gonna have that mouse's head. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on another episode of Side Flick. My name is Chris. We've got some movie news to talk about today. We're going to be discussing new details on the Mission Impossible sequels, a few tidbits concerning Scream 5, and yes, yet another Disney live-action reboot. That and so much more, guys, so be sure to leave in your opinions down below on what you think of all these topics we discussed today. There's no point in making these videos if you ain't having a conversation with me down below. Just look, I probably already left like 10 hearts down there. But also leave a like if you enjoy these news videos, so it lets me know to keep doing more of them. Alright, we're gonna start off with some light-hearted news, and that is a pun intended because it has to deal with Kevin Hart. Now, this probably won't be earth-shattering movie news to you guys, but I found it rather interesting, so I thought, why not bring it up to see what you guys think about it. Kevin Hart is working on his next big movie after quarantine. This movie is entitled Nightwolf, and it's said to be a spoof film on superhero movies. From the article, the movie is being described as a Meet the Parents-esque encounter where a man, played by Kevin Hart, meets his fiance's father for the first time. However, he soon discovers that his new in-law-to-be is actually the titular superhero, Nightwolf. You hear that, guys? Kevin Hart movie. You know we're gonna have screaming, short jokes, a squealing, the only way Kevin Hart knows how to do it. No, I actually just brought this up because I actually am a Kevin Hart fan, even though it feels like he plays the exact same character in all his movies lately. I still find a way to get entertainment out of them, and a plot like this mixed in with a superhero element, this could be a lot of fun. I don't know about you, but I really enjoy the genre of movies where there's superhero-based films that aren't based off comic books or a previous book. Things like Chronicle, Hancock, or Brightburn. I just get a real kick out of these films that turn nothing into something. I find it pretty original. Now again, like I said, this is not going to be earth-shattering. This isn't going to break records, but I think it's a memorable thing, and people are always saying down below, create original ideas. This is an original idea. It is going to be directed by the same man who brought us the old Fantastic Four with Chris Evans as Human Torch, Tim Story. And I think that's actually kind of the perfect director to be attached to this kind of movie because those films were super campy, very lighthearted, enjoyable in my opinion. So to bring that same sort of nature to a Kevin Hart comedy that involves superheroes, I'd really be looking forward to that. So I want to know your guys' opinion. Does this Kevin Hart meta superhero movie interest you at all? Surprised Kevin Hart's not playing the superhero. Moving on to our next topic here involving the Mission Impossible franchise. Guys, if you have not gotten on board with these Mission Impossible movies, do yourself a favor in this quarantine. I'm still finding every day people who have not checked out these movies. There are 6 of them and they're all quality. Minus 1. That's Mission Impossible 2. Just forget that one existed. Well, either way, as you might know right now, they are giving us 2 final Mission Impossible movies, Mission Impossible 7 and 8, that they will be shooting back to back. It'll sort of be the endgame Infinity War of the Mission Impossible franchise. And Christopher McQuarrie, who is going to be the director of these 2 movies, went ahead and gave some more details about the film that I think, if you're a Mission Impossible fan, sound really exciting. Not only did he confirm that a lot of the core members will be returning with Simon Pegg, Tom Cruise, Rebecca Ferguson, Ving Rhames, but he also seemed to semi-confirm that Hayley Atwell, who was Captain America's love interest, is basically gonna be the villain of these next 2 films. This is what he had to say. In the film, we found something really great for the core team. What I can tell you is that they then encounter this other destructive force of nature in the form of Hayley. Alright, first jumping onto the Hayley Atwell situation, I think that's pretty badass to have her be the villain of these next 2 movies, and describing her as a force of nature. Girl was so powerful she made Captain America go back in time? Damn right, that's some destructive force. It's gonna be really interesting to see how she plays into Mission Impossible 7. But with these 2 being the final movies, there is one thing on my mind that I can't get out of my head that I'm like, it's gonna happen, and it's one of these 2. These movies are gonna end with a bang. In this article, Christopher McQuarrie makes it very clear that there's gonna be very big emotional elements in this film, that there's gonna be story arcs for all the characters to have a nice conclusion. And that leads me to believe someone in that core gang is not making it out to the final film. And I think I've narrowed it down to either Simon Pegg as Benji, or Ving Rhames as Luther. One of these two dudes is gonna die in Mission Impossible. I could just feel it because these are characters that have been in the franchise pretty long, are beloved, and are also extremely close to Ethan and would mean a lot if he lost them during a mission. So my question is to you guys, out of these two, who do you think is gonna live, and which one do you think is gonna get that bomb to the back? In some news that might excite people over the age of 30, Popeye is coming back. Now, I'm obviously just joking around here with being ageist on who still remembers the character of Popeye. Heck, I'm under 30 and I remember the character of Popeye quite a bit. But the iconic character is now in full throttle to get an animated movie that was once going to be in development with Sony Pictures. Heck, there was even a little short film that landed online of what they were going for that didn't look half bad at all. Even better to me is the creator of Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack is the person who will be pushing this forward to be made. And as excited as I am, because I actually recognize the Popeye character and think he's kind of cool, I do wonder, in a modern setting, would a Popeye character really explode well on the big screen? Because I made that joke for a reason, because I feel like only a certain demographic of people remember who the Popeye character was because of his cartoon show. I wonder if kids today would be interested in a sailor with unusually large arms who chugs down spinach to fight a man who's basically Me Tooing his girlfriend an entire movie. Is that something still relatable to kids? Is that still something that they would want to go out to see? Or would it be something that parents would drag their kids to see to be like, look, I enjoyed this as a kid, so you's best enjoy it. But all I know is when this movie is coming out, I'm definitely gonna check it out. And for you people who have no idea who this guy is, would you even be willing to see it? Alright, let's talk about some Disney live action remakes, because you know they love to announce them. So this week on Disney Announced, according to the Illuminati, Atlantis the Lost Empire is gonna be getting the live action treatment from Disney, and none of us are surprised at all at this point. Now, this movie was released in 2001 and follows an inexperienced young adventurer who becomes the key to unraveling an ancient mystery when he joins up with a group of daredevil explorers to find the legendary lost empire of Atlantis. In a weird way, Atlantis is a lot like the movie Avatar, in where it's a guy who infiltrates a society, earns their trust, betrays them at some point in the movie, and, you know, they fix it by the end. I gotta admit, I was not the biggest fan of this Atlantis movie when I was a kid. I remember vague moments, but I always just remember not being all that interested in it. I think my young mind just could not appreciate it, so I definitely have to go back to it to see if I can enjoy it now. But one thing's for sure though, the things that are in this movie are built to be live action. Just imagining some of those visuals and Atlantis coming to life, this is the type of film where I'm like, alright, you do this live action and it could really work. Even better when you think about this movie actually failed for Disney when it first came out. This was a bummer for them. A lot of people were not interested in it at the time. Slowly over generations and people renting it at Blockbuster as kids, it's become a cult classic to where now if you remake it, there's gonna be people who show up to that theater. For you Atlantis fans, are you excited for this to happen? And for those of you against Disney remakes, what do you think about this? Finishing off here with some horror movie news, let's discuss Scream 5. Now, this is a movie I'm super looking forward to. The Scream franchise is like God level tier horror movie for me. And with this fifth film coming out, that is essentially a reboot where they're gonna rebrand the entire Scream franchise and make it anew for a new generation, I'm really curious to see how this would turn out in the modern age. But like I've recently talked about in a previous video on my channel, it's not gonna be a complete reboot. It's a reboot in the same way Halloween 2018 is a reboot of the franchise, in where they're probably not really gonna address the previous sequels, but they'll respect characters who are important to the franchise. Like we were just revealed, Neve Campbell is actually in talks to return for this film, not as a starring role, but in having some sort of role in the movie. Well, another individual who would be willing to come back to the Scream franchise that was just talked about a few days ago was Matthew Lillard, good old Shaggy, and also probably my second favorite killer in the franchise, Stu, saying that he would be happy to return to the Scream franchise. And immediately this has a lot of fans excited, thinking that his character is going to be returning, especially since Wes Craven originally wanted plans for his character to return in the third movie before that didn't work out. And in my mind, there's honestly about a 0% chance he's coming back. So why did I bring this up? It's because of the comments he said at the end of this interview, where he talks about Neve Campbell and her involvement in the future of the movie, saying, Lillard knows that Campbell is protective of the Craven legacy and wouldn't do it unless it felt right. I guarantee you Neve is a ferocious protector of Wes like nobody else. She wouldn't do it unless there's a really clear idea that she's excited about. Again, just pointing to the fact that if we get the confirmation that Neve Campbell has been signed on to this new Scream movie, it looks like it's gonna be a winner. And I want to immediately discredit any of those theories of she's gonna be the killer, she's gonna die, just because I think those are two things that would disrespect what Wes Craven has set up in the franchise. He is built on the fact that Sidney is an innocent hero. It would never turn into people just randomly, especially when she's been a victim of that friggin' 4 times in the series. And having her die, again, that's just disrespecting. Wes Craven ended it with her having a happy ending, a successful career, to then bring her back just to slay her away, I don't think would be paying respect to Wes Craven, and that's not what she's about. So I'll leave it to you guys. What do you think about Neve Campbell being so protective of the franchise, and what do you think her role is going to be when they finally reveal this Scream movie? But that is just all the movie news we have to talk about today, guys. Let me know your opinions down below. Really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on all that we discussed today. But also, don't forget to leave a like down below. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.